The NBA offseason is in a bit of a lull at the moment because it's been a while since any major trades have gone down, summer league games ended a few weeks ago, and most of the best available free agents have already found new homes or their existing homes. The excitement isn't completely over because there are still rumblings about some moves possibly coming on the horizon, but they will definitely be few and far between compared to what happened last month. Rumors surrounding star players with bad contracts have swirled for a while now, but none of them have been moved yet, so Bleacher Report sought to find deals that could move these players to new homes before the summer ends, and that's what we'll be reviewing in this video. As always, I'll go through each of their proposed trades, and I'll be analyzing whether or not the trade is realistic, who benefits the most from it, and why or why not each team would want to make the trade. Plus, if you want to read the actual article itself, that will be linked down in the description. Before we start though, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first trade proposed in the article is between the Orlando Magic and the Los Angeles Lakers, and in it the Magic receive Russell Westbrook, a 2027 first-round pick, and a 2023 second-round pick in exchange for Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, and Terrence Ross. The Lakers have been trying to move Russell Westbrook all summer, it seems like, but we're now into August and he is still a part of the team. The primary talks have been around a swap for him and Kyrie Irving in some sort of package along those lines, but at this point that idea seems incredibly far-fetched, so they do likely need to explore other options if they want to ship him out, and this is an interesting one on paper. The Magic are still in the rebuild phase, so the first-round pick attached to Westbrook in this deal is something that they would value. Plus, Gary Harris and Terrence Ross are two veterans that would probably fit better on a team like the Lakers that need more experienced contributors in their rotation, so I like it so far, but the inclusion of Markelle Fultz is where things get iffy. Fultz has had a strange career so far, having dealt with a shoulder issue that will likely hamper his ability to make threes at a reliable rate for a while, but at the same time, he has shown incredible flashes in other areas of his game, and the Magic are very invested in him having a big breakout year this season. Fultz is a phenomenal ball handler with great court vision and awareness. He has taken massive strides as a passer and playmaker, and when he gets into the paint, he has shown that he can finish around the basket with the best of them. The Magic do have Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs at the point guard position as well, so the backcourt is pretty crowded, but I'm not sure moving Fultz in order to bring in Russell Westbrook, who would definitely hamper those other 2 point guards' abilities to develop, is the best idea. So because of that, I don't think the Magic would be interested in doing this. The next proposal is between the Atlanta Hawks and the Brooklyn Nets, and in it the Hawks receive Ben Simmons in exchange for John Collins and Onyeka Okongwu. The Nets are basically stuck in any Kevin Durant trade discussions as long as Ben Simmons is on the roster, because due to an NBA rule, you cannot acquire multiple players signed to the same max contract that Ben is signed to via a trade, and most of the players that the Nets would want back in a return in a deal for Durant are signed to these same deals. So that leads some to believe that the Nets could explore a way to ship Ben out in order to get things going again on the Kevin Durant front. But at this point in time, doing so would be incredibly difficult. Not only has Ben not played NBA basketball in over a year now, but the last time he was on the court, he had a complete meltdown against the Atlanta Hawks in the playoffs, and over the last few months, he's also been dealing with a nagging back injury that could continue to plague him, so his value on the market is definitely at an all-time low. Sure, the idea of Ben Simmons on the Hawks makes a lot of sense, as they would be bringing in another stout defender to bolster that side of the ball for them after they finished as one of the worst teams on that end last season, but I don't think the Hawks would be okay with giving this much up for him due to all of the unknowns surrounding Ben. Collins is a borderline all-star caliber talent right now, and Okongwu has the potential to be one of the best defensive big men in the league down the line, and could overtake Clint Capella as the team's starting center in the near future. So again, this is too much to give up at this point in time. The Nets are stuck at the minute, and all signs seem to be pointing to them getting back with the core that they have to run it back for one more year, and then they'll figure things out later. The next proposal in the article is between the New York Knicks and the Charlotte Hornets, and in it the Knicks receive Gordon Hayward in exchange for Julius Randle and a 2024 first-round pick. The Knicks have been pretty active this offseason and want to get themselves back into the playoffs, but after a season that earned him a nomination to the second-team All-NBA, Julius Randle signed a massive long-term contract and then immediately reverted back to his inconsistent ways on the court. He's under contract for 4 more years and is owed around $117 million in that span, and because of how negatively he has impacted games in the biggest moments. He stuffs the stat sheet, but he does so inefficiently, and oftentimes it comes at the expense of those around him, which is why the Knicks had such a disappointing season last year. Randle is objectively a better player than Gordon Hayward at this point, but Hayward would both play the role that the Knicks need from a front court player better than Randle and fit in without negatively affecting the rest of the team. Jalen Brunson signed with the Knicks in order to take command of the offense, and RJ Barrett is hoping to take another step forward next season as well, but with Julius Randle being such a high-usage player, the fit may be clunky between them. Hayward would benefit much more from playing alongside Brunson and Barrett, and even though it would sting a little bit to have to attach that first-round pick in the deal, the Hornets would have no motivation to take on Randle's contract without some sort of sweetener like it. And finally, the last proposal from the article that we'll be analyzing today is between the Utah Jazz and the Philadelphia 76ers, and in it the Jazz receive Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle, a 2029 first-round pick, and second-round picks in the next 2 years, in exchange for Bojan Bogdanovic and Patrick Beverley. A few weeks ago, reports were indicating that Tobias Harris and Matisse Thybulle were both available in trade talks, but nothing really came from it. At the time, Donovan Mitchell also found himself in trade discussions, and this feels like the kind of deal that would only happen in the aftermath of a Donovan Mitchell trade that doesn't even seem that likely to happen anymore. If Mitchell stays, then the Jazz will be looking to make the playoffs again, and they'll have no motivation to sell off, even in a deal like this that is intriguing on paper. Tobias Harris is probably the slightly better all-around player compared to Bogdanovic, but Bogdanovic's efficiency offensively as a scorer surpasses Harris's, and defensively, Beverley provides similar defensive intensity to Matisse Thybulle, but Beverley actually spaces the floor as a shooter on offense and contributes on that end much more capably, while Thybulle has struggled mightily on offense throughout his career. The draft compensation would be something that the Jazz would be motivated to accept in the aftermath of a Mitchell trade, because it would mean that they were transitioning into a rebuild. But if that doesn't happen, then I don't think this deal really will gain any traction in discussions. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these hypothetical trade offers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.